Alright, we got a game with 3 masters. Let's get right into it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. Not a very good hand. I'm wondering if we should just get rid of, like, one of these penchants, for example. Well, I shouldn't say one of these penchants, but get rid of this one too, so. But when in doubt, just go ahead and drop the honor, I suppose. Here we're just gonna go ahead and drop the east. We've got a chance for the 1, 2, 3 Sanjoku, which isn't very important to be honest, but, well, now that we've got 5 blocks in Taiyao, right, there's potential chance that we can start calling. At this point, I think we're just going to go ahead and drop the 1, 2, so. As we said earlier, we have 5 blocks for Taiyao, which means that we can potentially call this hand, although, considering our shape is pretty bad, we're not really sure how excited we are to do so just yet. There's 2 calls over from across, meaning that they're probably decently fast. I'm wondering if I should keep this. Now, I can probably just drop the 1 considering that we already have the 4, giving us the 3 acceptance anyways. And we can keep this now for later. Now that there's 3 calls over there, I think it's about time for us to basically fold, just considering that our hand really isn't keeping up. It's going to be very difficult for our hand to get into Tenpai compared to the player who has already called 3 times. That being said, how do you want to do this? I mean, I guess we can go ahead and drop the 2, and then maybe if we draw some tile around the other floaters in our hand, we might be able to steer this hand towards Tenpai, but, well, I'm not really sure. I don't really want to be pushing anything, really, so yeah, whatever. I'll just go ahead and drop the 6-0 and fold. Same is fine to me. They don't look too expensive potentially, but still, again, this hand is very unlikely to finish, so we don't need to risk anything. Here the 6 should pass. Because it passed a couple of turns ago, and I don't believe they changed their hand at all. Okay then. So now their hand, well, okay, never mind. Now there's a threat into the dealer. I was gonna say, I was worried that they might be Toy, which would make them an expensive hand, but since they have called G on this, they're confirmed to have a cheap hand, so I'm no longer interested in defending in the player across, really. That being said, the dealer has called Riichi, which is now another threat that we must, well, deal with. So we're going to fold against the dealer. I was kind of preemptively dropping these middle tiles in the hopes, or not in the hopes, but in anticipation for someone else to call Riichi. As it turns out, they did, so it's good that we had the other tiles, for example, south, to defend against them. We didn't need to discard the south anyways, as it turns out, though. Let's just keep on moving on. Here we've got an interesting hand. When in doubt, drop the honors. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. Maybe potential for kind of chanta-ish stuff, but we're not really sure. When in doubt, just drop your lone tile. I'm going to drop the 9-so over here. That getting pwned? That's kind of annoying. I think what we want to do here is drop the 5. Well, lose the Itsu, but I don't think I'm that excited about that anyways. I do want to be cautious against the dealer at this point, considering that they do have 2 dragons called. They might not have the 3rd, but regardless, that's already 2 Han showing, which is decently expensive even if they don't have the green dragon in their hand. So yeah, what's it called? I kind of doubt they have the green dragon anyways, just considering that, I think we're dropping the 5 here, just considering that they look like they're trying to flush And if they have the green dragon in their hand, there's no reason for them to flush. So yeah, I don't really expect that there's any flushing going on over there. Here, we're dropping the 5 pin in order to confirm our 1, 2, 3 Sanshoku, which allows us to, you know, use the rest of our hand to call. Is that the alien? No. We're Ishan 10, but we're just gonna go ahead and drop the 7 man. We have no value in this hand unless we finish this hand closed, which is probably not happening, so we don't need to really push this hand at all. That being said, we are Ishan 10 again, so maybe if we get into Tenpai, we will be able to push the 17. It's not really that dangerous. But we didn't get into Tenpai, so don't need to worry about that. That is very expensive. Honeyman, I believe. Yep. At least we're not the dealer. Now we are in East 2. Let's keep on going. We got... Okay. That is a hand. When in doubt, drop in honor, but I'm pretty sure we're flushing this hand, so we're just gonna go ahead and flush. How about it? Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be pretty difficult to get value with this hand if we don't flush, so we might as well just flush. If we pair up in honor, we've got another block, which is sweet. Yeah, I'm not interested in keeping this pair, I think. We're just flushing this hand. Like, I mean, if you keep the pair, you're more likely to win, but you're more likely to win, like, a 1 or 2 Han hand. I don't really care about that. Cheating would be pretty funny, to be honest, but I don't think we need to do so. We are still in need of blocks. Still need to find one more block. That being said, at this point, we'll probably chi the Kanchan over here. Maybe we'll even chi the... What's-his-face? Maybe we'll even chi the Penchan? I'm not really sure. Don't seem that important to be honest. We can improve our shape quite a lot of ways. So yeah. I don't think there's a reason for us to be calling. Usually when you have a flush, you don't really need to call until you get 5 blocks. Or you don't need to call chi until you get 5 blocks. Because if you chi, you're basically forfeiting your draw, right? Because once you chi, you no longer draw from the wall on that turn. And so it's not really that important for you to call if your draw on average also has a pretty good chance of improving your hand as well. This is Tenpai. I mean, I guess I'll drop the white. The 2 is a very bad weight, but it's Mangan for 1. And for 2, if we draw something around the 2, we can drop the green, for example, to get a better weight. Especially a 3, right? Here we can drop the green now to take a 1 for 7 weight. If we win on the 1, it's still Mangan. But this is perfectly fine as well. Good thing we kept the 2. Alright. Okay, I guess we could have dropped the 9, huh? To get the 258 weight. That might have been better, huh? Because then it would be confirmed Mangan. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. But well, whatever. We don't need to worry about that anymore, considering it's the next round. 1, 2, 3... 3 blocks. That's not good. But we've got a red 5 now, so we kind of want to win the hand. We also got door acceptance, so we have a pretty good chance of getting 2 door, which would make this into an expensive hand. Yup. It's sure looking like we can get this hand going, because we got 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks in Taiyao, meaning that once we find another block, we're going to have 5 blocks in Taiyao. I don't think we really need this 9, considering that this hand is really not going to be completing unless we call. So we're just going to go ahead and get rid of these 1s and 9s as well. I'll keep the 1, I guess. Alright, I don't think there's a huge reason to... I don't think there's a huge difference between the 1 and the 9 over here. We're kind of calling ball on this for sure. And I guess we can drop the 1. Although we already have enough blocks. So, I don't think the 8 is really that important to keep anymore. Yeah, I guess we'll keep the 1 for safety-ish. Safety-ish's sake. Safety-ish. Sake? That sounds so weird. Whatever. Anyways, 1, 2, 3, 4. We still have enough blocks. Now we're just going to go ahead and drop the 1, I suppose, because the green looks a little safer, considering it's 1 cut. If the green was not 1 cut, then like we might consider just dropping it, considering that someone might have, or it will be more likely for someone to have a pair of them in their hand. Here we're definitely keeping the 4 in order to get us into Tenpai more often, more quickly. Now we are in Ishanten. We'll absolutely call everything that we can to get into Tenpai, which is 5 man, 6 man, 3 pin, and 6 pin. Not a lot of tiles, but, well, this is 3 han, so it's an expensive hand, and we will push it. It's a very bad weight, but it doesn't matter. 5,800 is pretty strong. If you count the stick in the middle, or not the stick, but the Honba counter, it's 6,100 points. That's like just about an average hand's win value, if I remember correctly. It's close to a Riichi hand's win value as well. Yeah, so 6,000 is definitely pretty good as a hand. Of course, our weight here is bad, so it's not as good as, you know, a good weight 3 han hand, but, you know, it's still plenty good of a hand to push. There's a Riichi on board now. If we do need to push into this, well, we can still do it. Considering that, well, they haven't dropped that many tiles. This 9 should not be dangerous. It's 1 chance. Well, we don't really care about 1 chance that much, since it's so late, but, well, I'm willing to push it, is what I mean. Here we're going to push the 6 as well. It's Suji. Okay. Very well. That's kind of annoying, but okay. Very well, that's a Mangan, meaning that we are very close to... Oh, well, actually, no. We're in 2nd place. That's not bad. Cool. It's now East 3. So if we win this hand, we will go into All Last in 2nd place, which is a great place to be in. As we always say. It's a pretty awkward hand, considering we're not really sure where shapes are gonna come yet. Gonna keep the Yakai for sure. 789 Sanjoku is possible, though not really something that we're that excited about. Here, I guess we'll just go ahead and drop the 1. I'm willing to keep the dragons around to find the ability to call. We're also... Yeah. This one's weird. I'm just gonna go ahead and drop the red. Not really sure what to do with this Dora, to be honest, but if we can use it in our hand, it'll be nice, so, you know, I'll keep it. White's useless now, so we're gonna drop it. This 18 is pretty decent, I guess, considering that it does allow us to, for example, get the 5, 6, 7 Sanchoku. It allows us to maybe get the 7, 8, 9 Ipeiko, although there's only 2 copies left of the 17 left. 2 copies left of the 17. Who's got that in their hand? Is a player across? I'm gonna assume it is. But maybe something's... Yeah, okay. Maybe... What is it? Chishi. Yeah... What do we do here? I'm just gonna drop the Rayman. The player across has a lot of Miltons in their discard, so looks kind of scary, to be honest. I don't know what to do about them. I think for the time being, we're just gonna go ahead and drop the... What do we do? I don't really want to drop the door into them, that's the thing. So I guess we're just gonna go ahead and drop the 18 then. Fine. The reason why we don't want to drop the door into them is because, well, it's only dangerous, considering that they have dropped a lot of these middle tiles. Not really sure how close they are to Tenpai, but I don't really want to risk it. Here, well, I guess we can drop the 9s. Yeah, we'll drop the 9s. 9 pins, that is, because there's no 9 pins left. Seems like a good idea. And now that we've paired up the 9-mon, well, we got a pretty expensive hand, so that's nice. However, it is getting kind of late, so it's going to be pretty difficult for us to win this hand, all things considered. Meaning that we're probably going to be folding, still. Or it's kind of dangerous, but it's not really that dangerous. But again, like we said before, it's going to be pretty difficult for us to win this hand. So like, we could, whoops. So we could fold on it. We ended up dropping it because we ran out of time. Not really sure what to do with this hand, to be honest. Here we're definitely just going to drop the 18. Now we got the 5, 6, 7 Sanchoku, potentially. So that's like kind of nice, I guess. It means we can call in order to get into Senpai. But it's still pretty difficult for this hand to win. Just going to drop the 3, so because it passed. The East is not safe, but there may be a world where we drop it, considering that, well, it is a floating tile. Can we just get out of here? I'm just gonna drop the 9, so... Yeah, it is too late for us to be pushing a hand that's still 2 away from Tenpai. So we're just gonna go ahead and drop the 9s, which seems to be the safest, I think. I guess maybe the 5s were safe as well. Whatever, we're gonna drop the 5 pin as well. Just get out of here. This hand's not winning anymore. We do not need to risk any deal-ins. Okay. We see all the 4s, meaning that... what does that mean? I think that means these pins are a little safer? Yes. I think. That probably makes sense. I'm gonna drop the 7 pin because I'm pretty sure that's also pretty safe. Yeah, there's 4 8s on the board as well. I guess I'll drop the 6. Oh, no, the 1 does fast. Okay, fine, I should have dropped the 1. Very well. Anyways, that's all she wrote. Good thing we did not drop the East. Okay, let's keep on going. We're in 3rd place now, but still, if we win this hand, we will be in 2nd place going to all last, so let's try and do that. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and not 3. We got 3 blocks. Hello. Thank you. We'll try to win the hand, but it's gonna be pretty difficult. Yeah. Could pair up the white. Never mind. I was gonna say if we pair up the white, we'd be pretty happy, but now it won't matter because we won't be able to use it as a triplet. That being said, we have 2 complete sequences, which means that it's a decent hand. It can win, potentially. Is it 1, or is it 9? That's the question. I don't think it really matters, but I'm gonna drop the 9. Maybe that's wrong. Yeah, I don't really know. Whatever. I don't think either of them are that useful to us. Anyways, here we're at Ishanten. We're gonna drop the 1. Headless. If we pair up the 6 or the 9 or the 2, 5, we will be able to get into Senpai, as well as if we complete the doodad over there. I mean, here we're just gonna call Riichi, I guess. Not really that much use in waiting, and we do have a Suji Trap on 3 pin at least, even though it is the Riichi's Suji Trap. We have good value as well, so we're just gonna go ahead and call. Oh boy, there's a con. Oh. Well, we can't really do anything about this. So yeah, if we win, we'll be happy. If we don't, so be it. That's how we roll. Let's cut, because I don't think anything interesting is going to happen for the rest of this round. Never mind. Thanks for the win. Alright, I guess we didn't need to cut at all. But hey, it's true that nothing interesting happened. So, I was right. Let's go into all last. Now, in first place, which means that even if we don't win, we have a pretty good chance of getting into first. And since we have 3 door, it's going to be pretty difficult for any of the other players to get an expensive hand. How about that? That's pretty nice. I don't think there's a huge difference between the 1 and the 8. I think the 8 is a little bit better, but I'm not really sure. Here, now that we already have 2 pair candidates, we don't really need any of these. We don't really need this floating 8 anymore. It's going to be pretty difficult for us to use the 7-8 shape. Just considering that, do we keep these dragons? I mean, you could keep the dragons. I think it's fine to keep the dragons. Yeah, we'll keep the dragons. Just considering that, no, maybe we should drop the 3, whatever. Just considering that, in order to use the 8999 shape, you need to have no pair elsewhere. And if you already have 2 pairs, which both of these are pretty difficult to turn into a triplet / sequence, especially considering we dropped the 9-1, but, you know. Considering that it's going to be difficult for us to get rid of these pairs, it's not really that important for us to keep this complex shape. And therefore this 18 is just, like, worse than a regular floater. Considering that, what do we do here? Can we drop the 3? Probably not good to drop the 3. We'll just drop the green, whatever. We already have safe tiles against the dealer anyway, so if they, you know, Riichi, we can fold against them, no problem. What are we doing again? Yeah, so the 8 is really not that useful after we've gotten 2 pairs elsewhere. Yeah, that's why we dropped it early on. Now, the 3, so is very weak considering that there's only 1 2-so left. That being said, we could probably just start folding, to be honest, considering that, or we could probably start preparing to defend, considering that, again, we don't really need to win this hand. Now, that being said, it's going to be pretty easy for us to fold this hand, I think, even if we do not keep any safe tiles. Is that true? Yeah, probably. We're not going to think about it that much. So yeah, I mean, I guess we can keep our shapes. I think if you're smart, you might drop the 8 mons in order to try and fold more easily, considering that we really don't need to win this hand. But, well, whatever. I'm going to keep our shapes, because I feel like it. At this point, if we get into Tempai, I guess we'll call Riichi. But in order to maybe get a couple more points. But, you know, it's not really that important. Reach. Yeah, because if we win this hand, we have a pretty good chance of getting, well, at least 8 points, which is pretty strong. I think the chances that we deal in with this hand is very low. Meaning that, well, we may as well just call Riichi. We're not risking losing our placement really that much, I think. So yeah, might as well just call Riichi. And chillax. If we can win the hand, we'll be happy. There you go. And if we get some Uradora, we might be able to get a Hanemon. There you go. Just gotta jinx it. So we got an extra 12 points. That's pretty sweet. Amazing. Well, we ended the game in first place, which is pretty sweet. I'll take that 90 points. Very nicely. Thank you very much. And see you guys next time.